Hi guys, welcome to Crypto AMC, and today we're going to answer the question, Bitcoin's hidden signal. I want to show the hidden signal to you guys, and I want to talk to you about what most people are probably missing right now so that we can get maximum gains out of the market. No financial advice, obviously. So let's head over to the charts and let's talk about Bitcoin real quick. Okay, so Bitcoin had yet again another strong bearish divergence. And I pointed out to you guys that as you can see, the amount of gains we had this time around was considerably lower. Okay, so, and this means that we are losing momentum from the high point. The amount of retrace that we had, so if we use these highs and we measure all the way to the lows, and we use these highs and we measure all the way to the lows, you can see that the amount of retrace we had is also way more. So we're sitting in a situation that not only the highs are getting smaller, the retraces in each time or each event is getting bigger, showing that there is signs of weakness entering the market. Okay. Now, the amount of time that we spent the last time round in relation to the amount of gains that we had was balanced in effect. We almost spent what was almost a year chopping sideways between $70,000 and $50,000 for BTC. And it's fair to assume that when we had our breakout, that the effort versus the result, one of Wyckoff laws, played out nicely. So now we're sitting in a situation where we either need to be chopping around, meaning we need to start doing more of this to get into our next move, or alternatively, the trend might change. Now, the scary thing is with any analysis like this, guys, and I just want to point this out before we move any further, is that it's just an analysis, meaning a hypothetical theory. We're trying to look at where the least risk and the most risk will be. So in the bigger scheme of things, when we're looking at, the bull market top, talking about sitting at November this year, it doesn't mean that it could be a double top, or even a lower high at that stage, and then we start retracing. We do not know what the target will be. Yes, it could be at $200,000 a BTC. That would be amazing. But we don't have the evidence to at any stage tell anybody that that is exactly what's going to happen. So this channel, as I always take the approach, we take things level by level so we don't end up falling victim to these crazy predictions. The same then from a bearish point of view. If I now tell everybody it's going to go back down to 22, let's sell. What if it does get there, but only 5 years from now? It's a silly way to go about things. Okay, so this bearish signal that I'm looking at, and the short that I'm currently in at the moment, I'm currently in that short. So at the moment is me looking at what the market is telling me from a macro point of view at the stage. Now, the rule that I apply at this stage, looking at it, is the Gann rule. Now, the Gann rule works as follows. Any impulse will have a retrace. We know that. And the retrace would be roughly 50% of the move, and it will take roughly 50% of the time. So if that is X or 2X, let's make it simple, that would be X. And if that is 2Y, that would be Y. It's as simple as that. So then at least we have an idea that we all can agree that Bitcoin had an amazing 7-week run. So it's fair to assume that out of that 7 weeks, we should see at least 4 weeks of bearish lows. That's it. Makes sense. Simple, okay, in that way. So if I apply that onto the chart by measuring the time and putting the time fib on from highs to lows, we're looking at the 23rd of June or potentially the 19th or the 9th of June, which means we're looking at next month before it's going to start moving again, which means that although this weekly time frame from the HODL point of view, I'm saying to you guys, it's bullish. This is trading. I don't want to be looking at spot bags. I'm talking about leverage trading. We could clearly see a big white candle maybe going down all the way there, coming all the way back up, and then having a blue candle close above that line. So something similar than that, just to then see the market move on further. And it's that move that I don't want to miss out on. Now, what do I have to support that, guys? Because, this is a crazy theory I'm sharing with you guys. Simple. If I head over to the 4-hour time frame, we're at this stage. I'm playing on the back that the 4-hour, we are holding on to the bullish trend, but any upside potential at this moment is going to be met with hidden bearish divergence. And the 4-hour has already starting to give us high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. It's already starting to trend bearish. Hence the fact that I'm short. Now, we also went long because with trading, I can cheat. I can take both sides of the market. And as per the last setup that I shared with you guys, this was the momentum play. That one failed, but I explained to you guys, because the weekly time frame has this red line sitting here at 104, even if this one fails, I am going to go bullish again. Right. And where we're at now for those who want to go bull, let's go to this 4-hour time frame. We smack in that buy zone for continuation. So just because I have the short doesn't mean that I'm not using this to try and hedge this position to see if it goes long as well. Okay, I can play both sides of the market. Right. So in conclusion, where we're at right now, we're looking at the weekly time frame that is showing signs of momentum, a loss. Okay, we're looking at the weekly time frame that is due a little bit of a retrace, and I've identified 93,000 as a probable target for that retrace to go to. The expectation that it's going to hang around there for long is very slim. So I want to see the market fall, liquidate a lot of players probably, and then get right back up and then continue onwards, because the larger time frame prediction still means that we're supposed to be bullish up until the end of the year. Now, I've said there's this hidden signal, and the problem that I have with that continuation is that, and this is something that supports my bearishness at the moment, okay, is that the altcoins, this is now Ethereum. Let's look at the second biggest coin. Okay. Every time you have a fast move, when the market moves really fast, you create an imbalance. And I label that as an action zone, meaning we try to get in on momentum. If it screws you over because you own the thing on spot, when it gets back to that action zone, which it always will do, it will go and try and reclaim that support level that's lost. You sell, wait for more. And this sell-off also had an action zone. And you can clearly see that this is a lot of buying from a bullish perspective that's entering the market. Every time it hits the resistance, there's somebody buying. But who's the guy that is selling? That's the question. And then if I look at this price action, we've got hidden bearish divergence as strong as it can be. Okay, let's mark that out. Hidden bearish divergence. Let's do that. I'm just going to draw the line. There you go. Lower high in price, higher high in RSI. So it's fair to assume that price is going to want to come back down at least to $2,000 for an ETH. Now, we haven't yet, we're about to create hidden bullish divergence, which means that this price needs to go down so that this RSI can go below this range, and we do get our hidden bullish divergence, which will then start pushing the alts back up. Ethereum suffers from this. Solana suffers from this. Let's load Solana. Same picture. Hidden bullish divergence already there. What did I say? It's going to go to 150 at least. It went to 150. Cardano, we're looking at that same price action, that same frustrating price action. So basically all that it's saying to me is that the alts, Ethereum in particular, needs this flush from Bitcoin as well in order for us to even start thinking about this dominance pivoting around. Now, I'm still hopeful that there will be a semi or small alt season near the end with the dominance raining back down. The only thing that doesn't work in our favor is the fact that there's 15 million alts now. Here we had 20,000 alts. Okay. So the market is so divided that it makes sense that Bitcoin is basically just stealing everybody's thunder. So this is probably the biggest undoing for our alt season this time around. And 15 million is what we see on record. There's probably more coins out there. it's become too easy for people to start a new startup business and ask the public for money. And that trend needs to die down as well. And I think that's probably why our alts are not doing that great. Okay, so that's everything that I wanted to share with you guys. So now you know what my game plan is. I am long-term bullish, but for me at the moment, and there's the evidence. Price should stay. A weekly should keep on closing above it. Doesn't mean we can't wick below that. I am long-term bullish, but when we start moving into the shorter time frames, I am bearish, and I went bearish with everybody, and I have the position to prove it. Okay, and in order to be a non-biased trader, which is what we're supposed to be on this call, not have a bullish or a bearish narrative, we're in a buy zone again, as explained. If this one fails, this is yet again another one that you guys have to act on, because in the end of the day, you play the bigger game. You have to play the bigger game of probabilities. Okay. And when the trend starts changing, I mean, there we had a losing trade, there we had a skip trade, there we had one lose, and then the next time I called the exact same trade, that's the one that played out. These things do happen. So if you're not in it, you can't win it. It's as simple as that. So you have to have a little bit of risk in the game in order to be in with the big moves when they do happen. Simple as that. Okay. Before I'm going to look at the comments real quick, I just want to quickly point you guys to this. I've got a partnership with BloFin. Everybody should know this by now. Open your BloFin account, support the content, you know all that drill. But there's more. As I always say, when I try and look at a partnership, I try and look at ways how my partnership can benefit you as well. And what I've done with BloFin now is I've created a spot trade group. The expectation is as follows. If the alts are going to go down and sell down, the idea is very simple. When we get to that area, I want to try and get as many people in on buying good spot levels for the next run. So even if you're underwater, at that stage, you can trade yourself out of the hole. Okay. Now, all you need to do to join that spot trade group is go to the Discord, links in the video description, go to the Get Partner role in the navigation channel, and click on the Claim BloFin role. So if you have a BloFin account already and you don't have the role yet, you need to go click on that button. Once you click on that button, it will take you into a private channel. So it's going to load something like that, but it's going to have your name on it. You click on that. There's a private one-on-one channel, which is going to be between me and yourself. So here I'm talking to myself. It's going to explain exactly everything that you need to do to qualify. So no cost to you. It's simple as that. And the end of this week, this spot trade group is going to start off, where I'm going to share the trades, share the charts, do the markups, and all the BloFin pairings out there, even the new hot coins, so that we can get in on those on spot. This is a beginner-friendly group with the ideas that I'm going to take you guys through, explain exactly why, and give clear invalidation levels. Look, past performance doesn't guarantee future performance. There's no guarantees in this game. It's all about risk management, guys. I'm not a financial advisor. But at the end of the day, if you're in the game, that's how you learn, that's how you improve, and that's how you end up being the one at the end of the journey that sits with gains. It's as simple as that. Okay, so make sure to go and get your BloFin account now so that you're ready. I'm on-ramping people the whole of the week so that we can start next week. Okay, so get yourself onboarded. There's only a limited amount of slots. It's too soon now to kind of lock that in. And that's it. All right. Over to your comments. Let's quickly see who we've got live in the room today. Hello, Liam. Good morning to you, my friend. Morning, Renee, Stonku. Hello, guys. Let's see what else we got. Moden, good morning to you as well. And Raven 485. What is the significance of that 4815, my friend? If that is that a magic fib number that I should know of? Let's see what else we've got here. So Liam's got a question here. I see ETH at a pump, then a consolidation, then hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. Can we expect more to come? If so, how high? Thanks. Okay, so the basis that you're looking at, so I'm going to switch over to Ethereum real quick. And this is my 4-hour chart, weekly, daily, 4-hour, 15-minute. The weekly time frame is the one that bothers me at this stage. Because if you look at this thing from the weekly perspective, okay, we're at resistance. Now, we don't have a very clear pivot on the weekly time frame, but you can clearly see that momentum is lost, and we're building a base. Doji, doji, doji. So the big thing is we need price for the weekly time frame to close above these dojis, which it's not been able to do. So we can mark that line at 2.7, and we need to mark that line at 2.3. So before I can say either up or down on your basis, there's more. We need to close a weekly either above this line for more upside, or if it closes below that line for the shakeout. So the weekly time frame, albeit irrelevant to us today, means that come Sunday, where that is going to be significant for us. Okay. Then if we head over to the daily time frame, and we look at the daily price action, and I bring back the RSI, you can clearly see, and I'm going to switch to the line tool. What are we doing? We're making higher lows and lower lows on the RSI. But yet again, that is met with another reciprocal wave, higher high in price, lower high, strong bearish divergence. So we're sitting in a situation where Ethereum is now building a triangle or a pennant. Any of those retail patterns that you're looking at, it's basically gonna play out now. So if I switch back to the line tool, the easiest way then to try and gauge when this could potentially be is to try and just put the pennant in there, or whatever the case might be, triangle. And when you're looking at something like this, statistically, the betting man says you need to trade this in favor. But it means that this thing is going to probably chop around way longer before the breakout happens. And that then means that we're going to need divergence, probably on this pivot, before we can start thinking about big moves again. So it's just going to be, that's what retail is expecting. So the market's occasionally right. Everybody gets to be occasionally right. So for me, I would rather say, where would the loss be? In the same way that we've had these imbalances, when the market makes these massive drops in price, the same reason for that. I'm saying that, yes, we pumped, so there's a massive imbalance there. And the market's going to have to go back and just grab that liquidity before we go. So that's why I'm betting against this divergence. And Bitcoin is supporting that, and it's the fact that the momentum is gone. Now, one big candle. Tomorrow I might be back and eating my words, because we might get that momentum. And that's why you bet both ways. That's why I'm not trying to be a coward or trying to cover myself so that I can always say, look at me, I'm right. I don't care about being right. I just want to make money. And that's why I do have a long planned in order to protect against that. But now if we go back to Ethereum, we start looking at the 4-hour time frame. Okay. What we do have at the moment here on the 4-hour isn't bullish for me just yet. Okay. And that's what bothers me. We need more shakeout, so we probably need to go back to 2.3 minimum. Test this demand, sweep that low, 2.3. That would be a minimum for me in order to think about this as from a bullish point of view. Hence the fact that I'm betting it's going to go in the other direction. Okay, that's me. Okay, how high can it go? Well, if you want to know how high it go, let's say I'm wrong. It's very simple. Once Ethereum, and let's go to Ethereum real quick. I marked out these levels for you guys. Once Ethereum gets into this $3,000 range, we're going to jump past 4 quickly. So how high can it go? It can go very high, but we still need to move through this action zone and the one up top. So there's a lot of divergences that's going to end up playing out here. And only once we break through all this sell wall, then the move is going to go quick. So it's very tricky at this stage. Okay. And if it wanted to break through, typically it will do it in one fell move. So like a massive sweep, and then stay above it. We're not doing that. We're falling low. This is still trending down. Okay. I will wait the hidden bearish divergence over any bullish signal until the trend changes. And I need a low, which I don't have on the RSI just yet. A low that gives me a higher low in price, which we don't have just yet. Okay. Hope that answers you, Liam. Let's see what else we have. Trader T. Let's see what Trader T has to say. Hey, Tilly. Nice. Yeah, it was awesome meeting you. Let's see what else we have. Raymond D's numbers from my favorite show all time. Okay, I'll go and check that out. Barry's time will pass, right? You go bullish by the end of the week, don't you think? Look, take it by level. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to get too ahead of myself. One big candle can change the thing, but you guys, you cannot argue, and you cannot argue the TA. That's the main thing. You cannot argue the TA. At this stage, this weekly time frame is telling me momentum is lost. Okay, we're hovering on support, which is why I want to go long. But if it fails, that's the area where probably the high probabilistic buys will happen. The buys that's kind of like this, where it goes, takes the money, and then runs and not come back again. Those are good buys. And if we can get that, it will mean that our alts on spot will also do well. So get your BloFin account, get prepared so that when that happens and I start giving those spot setups in the Discord, you're there. Simple as that. You have a lovely day, guys. I'll be back in the afternoon. We will dive into some alts a little bit more. And particularly then we'll have a little bit more data around what ETH is doing in here. And then I will maybe chart a few of your requests. So make sure to drop them in the comments of this video. And then we can have a look at some of your bags. Have a lovely day, guys. I'll see you this afternoon. Cheers.